Hey guys, I'm so sorry about that. If you're just now joining us, or if you've been watching, what we've been talking about is a mass shooting that occurred at a 4th of July parade in a suburb just north of Chicago. It's good to see you on this 4th of July. I'm Courtney Robinson, unfortunately coming to you with some really tragic information as a community in the Chicago area gathered to celebrate the 4th with their families, with young children, just moments after this 4th of July parade kicked off again in Highland Park, which is a suburb just north of Chicago, an affluent area, just a couple blocks from Lake Michigan. Shots were fired, according to a Chicago Sun-Times reporter who was on the scene. Witnesses told him that they heard 20 to 25 shots of rapid fire. And then this reporter also said that they personally saw 3 bloodied bodies covered in blankets, also saw multiple people wounded. The Associated Press reporting very similar things. You're looking live right now at the area where you can see families, trying to get out of that area and being escorted right here by police. We have also seen, as we've been watching video coming from Highland Park, we've seen officers with rifles in the area. It's unclear exactly what happened, but again, right there you can see this officer blocking off that area where this parade was happening on Central Avenue in Highland Park. Again, just to reiterate, this is a suburb that is just north of Chicago. It is an affluent area. It is neighbored to the west by Deerfield. So if you're familiar with that area, you know what I'm talking about. It's just a couple blocks from Lake Michigan, but also just a couple blocks from a hospital as well, North Shore Highland Park Hospital. According to residents who were at that parade, who were on floats at this 4th of July parade, they said that they saw just people running. There were hundreds of people running, people telling the Associated Press that they were hearing gunshots, but it's still unclear exactly what happened. We know that city leaders in the Highland Park area posted on Twitter that, quote, police are responding to an incident in downtown Highland Park. 4th Fest has been canceled. Please avoid downtown Highland Park. More information will be shared as it becomes available. The police department said no one was able to discuss the incident immediately because, as you can see, they are dealing with an active situation. Right there, you can see a police officer with a rifle escorting individuals down the streets to get them out of the downtown Highland Park area. This was an area where, there were families, a family just like this one, there gathered to celebrate the 4th of July, now having to comfort each other because of whatever happened in this suburb. Again, we're still trying to get all of that information, but reporters who were at the scene, witnesses who were at the scene there for this 4th of July parade with families, with children, heard gunshots. They have seen people with blood on them. And they're saying that a shooting did happen here again in Highland Park. And we know that after this, again, this happened at 10 o'clock Chicago time, so 11 o'clock in Tampa Bay. We know that other events in the Chicago area, other neighboring suburbs have also canceled their 4th of July festivities. Just an awful way to start the 4th of July here in the Midwest and also across the country, as we've talked about gun violence, and you can see them protecting that certain area of downtown. We understand that this was the parade route went through the central area, and that is possibly where that shooting is, where we're seeing right now as this officer is directing traffic, trying to protect that area. Right now what we are trying to find out, and Stephen, we do have our digital director over here. Stephen, can you see if Highland Park Police, if they've tweeted any information or anything coming out of Highland Park at this moment? There were hundreds of parade goers that were gathered there. This was supposed to be a 4th of July parade. We here in Tampa Bay, of course, are getting ready for plenty of parades. We have our boat parade happening, other parades, many events happening across the area. So we're going to work to see if that means a heightened sense of security as well. Although we have talked with our police leading up to today and the events that were happening, and they said that security would be, Yeah, go ahead.
Courtney, nothing beyond what you've said from Highland Park Police yet. However, the mayor just released a statement
So this is the governor.
Yeah,
Governor of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, saying, "My staff and I are closely monitoring the situation in Highland Park. State police are on the scene, and we have made all state resources available to the community. We will continue working with local officials to help those affected." So again, a very quick and rapid response to the situation in Highland Park. And let's pull up CBS Chicago as well and see, if they happen to have a reporter there. Again, this is, if you are familiar with the Chicago area, we're talking about north of the city, so the North Shore area. This is Highland Park, neighboring Deerfield. This is one of those quaint, sweet Midwestern communities right there on Lake Michigan. A beautiful, beautiful area where we can see, and if you look in the background there, I'm trying to see, you can see individuals in tactical gear as well. It's unclear if they are looking for a shooter. It's unclear exactly how many people have been hurt. And what went off when. We can just tell you what residents said. People started saying that they heard people screaming, "There's a shooter, there's a shooter, there's a shooter," and they just ran, and they said it was mass chaos. Others said, they didn't hear any noises, and then they didn't see anyone, and they didn't see anyone who appeared to be injured, but they were all very, very scared. The Lake County Sheriff's Office is assisting Highland Park Police, and they did say that they are assisting, quote, with a shooting in the area of the Independence Day parade route. Is that a pizza guy?
Yeah, probably bringing
food to the first responders. Okay, that makes sense.
And Courtney,
yep.
We don't have anything further from our CBS crew here. We know this is their camera. It's our CBS News camera there at the scene. But we do have a little bit anecdotally from one of our CBS colleagues who is a digital producer there in the Chicago area. Alyssa Kaufman works at the same station. You can see that police officer running there.
Right there,
Let's
yeah.
take a second on this. Want to make sure everything's okay here.
Okay, Alyssa Kaufman is saying,
Yeah, Alyssa Kaufman, a digital producer at CBS Chicago. She was actually there with her family.
Oh my gosh, saying she grew up there.
Yeah, she grew up there. She said her family was sitting near 2nd and Central in front of the Walker Brothers. That's when she and her family heard what she says sounded like multiple gunshots or fireworks. Says they dropped to the ground and then ran to an undercover parking garage where they had parked. Said there was a lot of screaming and panic. She's obviously thinking of all the other families there in that town where she grew up.
And so we can confirm, she referenced fireworks, which obviously we're all used to hearing. Even during the day, whether you can see them or not, people will set them off. We know that happens in Tampa Bay, but we can confirm that there was indeed a shooting, because you have the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Lake County is the county in which Highland Park, this suburb where this shooting happened. Lake County Sheriff's Office saying that they're assisting with a shooting in the area of the Independence Day parade route, and what Alyssa is referring to, Central Avenue. That is where that parade was traveling down. We do know that based on, I looked up before we started this, what the parade route was, and it was called Fourth Fest, and so what we don't know right now is we don't know if anyone was shot. If so, how many people were shot? And obviously, if they are still looking for a shooter, we just know that a shooting happened during a 4th of July parade, again, in Highland Park, which is a North Shore suburb of Chicago. A really scary thing, of course, as we talk about gun violence. Chicago itself as a city has not been immune to gun violence. In fact, one of the top areas where we see a lot of gun violence when we talk about this issue. But Highland Park, this affluent suburb that is somewhat pocketed when it comes to crime. You don't hear about that in these areas. My family lives in another suburb, and they are, it's that, like I said earlier, it's this nice Midwestern, safe kids playing outside, the Americana, what you think of, and I'm sure Alyssa who is our CBS colleague on digital, would agree with. And so again, people saying, they just heard this, they fled, they left behind strollers, blankets, chairs, and we have been watching as police have escorted families away from the downtown area, getting them out of that area, and as we are trying to learn much more about look, there you go, see another family here with strollers, carrying babies, you can only imagine, just how terrifying whatever they heard, whatever they witnessed, especially with people screaming and running, what they may have seen.
Right, and even in those moments, those initial moments, obviously things change. That's why you hear Courtney being so careful with word choice right now, just in terms of, as you just said, we don't know exactly how many people may have been hit or may not have been hit, and how their condition is. But even in what we're getting from the Associated Press on the ground, witnesses that I would assume would include families are reporting that they saw bloodied bodies covered up, which, for any of these families, to your point, who are at this parade for a day of fun and celebrating America, what they may have seen just sounds awful based on initial reporting.
Yeah, seen or even just heard. Just look at this little guy right here. You see a mom carrying a woman carrying a little girl, another pushing a stroller, this woman holding a little boy's hand as he skips. That normally you'd see this, oh, look, this family, you're looking at this family with their dog going to a 4th of July parade, but behind them is crime scene tape. Behind them you have sheriff's vehicles with lights flashing, and right next to them you have a law enforcement officer with a rifle escorting them to safety. So a scary thing. We're glad that this family is okay. Again, working very, very diligently to find out what may have happened at this 4th of July parade in Highland Park, this northern suburb of Chicago, working to find out who may have been shot, if so, how many people were shot, if there is if they are still looking for a shooter. We do know that a shooting did happen, confirmed again by the Lake County Sheriff's Office. We also know that the governor has said that he has sent the full support of state police to help this community as they are dealing with this situation, and of course, hoping that that this has not turned into yet again another mass shooting in America on a day when we are celebrating our independence as a country.
And the list just keeps growing in terms of nearby cities that are canceling holiday events as a result of this developing situation here. The city of Evanston, just moments ago while Courtney was
speaking, just south,
went ahead and canceled as well. Just adding to that growing list, their exact statement was due to a tragic mass shooting, is how they worded it, that took place earlier this morning in Highland Park. The city of Evanston will be canceling this year's 4th of July parade and celebrations effective immediately.
So the city of Evanston now calling this a mass shooting. So we are working to find out how many people have been shot and the condition of those shot, the status of the shooter or shooters, and that sort of thing. Now, when we talk about cancellations, we don't know if there are threats to these nearby communities, but what we can tell you is that these nearby communities are now having to direct all of their resources to this community in order to assist. There you go. You have another police vehicle coming in, and we've seen state police, we've seen the sheriff's office, we've seen others. So you can see this reporter getting ready to get from our CBS affiliate in Chicago, getting ready for her live shot to share with the community exactly what's happening. We here in Tampa Bay, of course, are monitoring this. We're looking at all of the social media. We're working with our affiliates. But again, we can confirm that there was a mass shooting in Highland Park at a 4th of July parade. Highland Park, just north of Chicago, an affluent suburb, just blocks from Lake Michigan. And we are working to find out how many people have been shot, the condition of those, and the status of the shooter or shooters in this situation. We know that law enforcement from across the state and in that Chicago area are responding. This happening just before 10 o'clock this morning, again at a 4th of July parade in the Chicago area, so 11 o'clock our time. And we will be reaching out to our officials to ask, if there's concern in our area when it comes to the many, many, many events that we have. But they have told us that they have been focusing quite a bit on security leading up to this. Just again, our thoughts with all of those in Highland Park and in the surrounding communities as they grieve and mourn what should have been a lovely day celebrating America. Stay with us. We're going to have much more here on 10 Tampa Bay on our Facebook page. We'll have more on 10tampabay.com. And then, of course, starting at 5 o'clock on 10 Tampa Bay, we'll have the very latest on this situation coming out of Highland Park, a suburb just north of Chicago. Thank you for being with us.